If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson here with Elite Publishing Podcast, along with my business partner, Jen Foster, over there in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey, Jen.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
All right, well, we're here to talk publishing. And, we have one of our brand new authors, Lee Glover, with us. He wrote the book Field Trip, Many Years on a Johns Island Farm, the story of why one end of Johns Island was so special at one point in time. It's really like a walk into history. And I love this book because he's seen the transition, he's seen from farmer moving forward, but we want to see all the great things he's done with his book and how he's using his book and marketing his book, as well as a story about how he wrote it. Lee, thanks for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Glad to be with you.
Well, tell us, Lee, when was the first time you knew you wanted to write a book?
That's a good question, but I really became motivated to this so that my dear sister would stop nagging me to write it. But in reality, I'm the last of a generation that played an important part in the farming industry on this island, and I kept hearing there was no record of it. And when my generation died, that history would be gone, would be lost. And so someone here and someone there kept saying, we wish we had something. And so I sat down and started writing.
So what was your discipline to write the book? Did you do it in the morning? Did you talk your book? Because so many people struggle with writer's block and the discipline to actually get their book done. So what were your strategies and your routine to write your book?
Well, I'm a disciplined person to begin with, so that helped. But I definitely believe in activity. So I didn't feel like writing every day, but I did something every day. I would either watch a YouTube video, or I would listen to a podcast, or I would do research. Just something every day. And that combined activity kept me engaged. And the second thing was that I enjoyed it. So the more I wrote, the more ideas and information came into my head, and the more everything became real. And then, of course, as I began to make progress, then that was exciting. So I was constantly stimulated there.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for a new author who's just starting writing?
My advice would be to do something every day. So whether it's 10 minutes or 3 hours, but do something every day so that you, one, feel, okay, I did something today. And two, it's constantly acquiring a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of awareness that you really are doing it. So some activity every day.
I think that's so important because you feel like you're constantly making progress if you're doing something to move the book forward every day. So, in today's publishing world, there's a lot of choices. There's do the book all by yourself, try and publish it and figure out how that works. There's companies like us, and then there's people who try and get a traditional publishing deal. What led you to do self-publishing with a publishing company, specifically us, that you wanted to do that? How did you decide?
So I did a fair amount of research before I started this, and even more research after I actually had a manuscript. So in the beginning, I wanted to look and see what options were out there. Mm-hmm. And once I started writing and focusing on the manuscript, then the company and who I would publish or how took a back seat. But once I finished the manuscript or was winding it down, then I did a fair amount of research. And you're right, there are a number of options out there, from self-publishing to traditional publishers and everything in between. I would suggest that someone do the research on all of them to find out what's best for them. But
Mhm.
for me, working with a publisher like Elite made by far the most sense. It allowed me to keep my voice in the manuscript and some control, but I had the benefit of working with experts, and that gave me confidence and direction so that I was not reinventing the wheel. If you need a heart surgery, you want a good surgeon. If you've put a lot of time in writing a book and a manuscript, you want good people to help you.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your strategies for getting involved with your local bookstores and your local stores to put your book in. So tell us kind of how you went about getting that done.
So it became easier the more you do it, like almost anything else. Once I had a manuscript, so just to back up a little bit, when I was after I finished the manuscript, I of course had several editors read it. And I had several people who editing was not their profession, but who read a lot of books read it. And they gave me positive feedback. And I didn't want to hear, oh, that's great, or oh, you did it. I wanted to hear if they really liked it, if it was because the first time I was putting myself out there. And I got very positive feedback. And that gave me confidence to take my book into a store. And the first bookstore which was Buxton Books, was very excited about it. It was local. It was something they felt people would have an interest in. I also went into a bookstore. They did not know me at all. And they order so many books every day. And it was like one more, except the more they looked at the book, the more they realized, okay, we can market, this will sell for us. And so they were willing to give it a shot. So just like writing the book, activity gives confidence and creates the same thing with marketing. So take one step and then two steps and keep building.
Tell us how you did your book signing party. You had a successful book signing party. How did you put that together?
Well, I did it with some help from Elite and some great letters and steps to follow there. I probably could have done more, but it was on a Wednesday night at 6 o'clock and after work. And I said, I don't want to ask these people to come out after they've been working and listen to me talk for 40 or 45 minutes. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. I should have mailed out more than I did. Invitations. Elite helped me with a great invitation that I sent out. And some people came that, for example, my former minister has a prayer group every Wednesday. And she put out an email and said, we're not having it tonight. I'm canceling it because I'm going to Lee Glover's book launch. And several of her people in the group said, well, wow, the minister's canceling the prayer meeting to go to Lee Glover's book launch. Maybe I ought to go. And so they showed up and they didn't even have an invitation. So it was using the tools that Elite gave me and that Jen sent me the email and putting it out. And I got back great response. Now, not everyone replied and said, oh, looking forward to it and so forth, but you had to RSVP to go to the launch. And I knew it was going well when I received an email from them that says, we're doing fantastic. So that was encouraging.
That's great. And so you had over 70 people at your book signing party. What were some of the things you did? Like, I know I asked you specifically to take some pictures. So tell us about the pictures that you took and the people that were in them.
Sure. Well, it turned out that it was on International Brothers Day. And my brother introduced me as a surprise. Someone from the bookstore welcomed everybody. And then my brother came up and made a point about 3 times of telling everyone that I am 10 years older than him. But after that, they had asked me to speak for about 35 minutes. And that went very well. Just let it go and talked. And I had prepared some notes ahead of time, but basically I prepared enough that I didn't really need the notes. After that, we had about 20 minutes of question and answer. And that after that, an hour was up, but there were some very good questions. And I guess like always in school, once somebody asked a question, then everybody opened up and more questions came. Had a charcuterie board there and people like that. And so afterwards, after the question and answer, people were getting their books, and I just stayed at the podium, and they one after another came up and signed until there were no more.
That's great. And so you sold out of your
Yes.
books, and then the bookstore ordered more.
They took orders. We had several people that ordered 10 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Those were being drop shipped to them. Nice people, they didn't want to take all the books out of the bookstore, so they arranged to have them drop shipped to them. It was quite an evening.
What advice would you give an author, well, actually someone who hasn't written a book and been wanting to write a book? What advice would you give them to get them to move forward?
I would suggest that they find out why they want to write this book. What is motivating them? What is their why? What do they want to do? What do they want the book to do? And once you have that, then I would start preparing myself, acquiring information, whether it's research or talking with other people, similar subjects or genre, but acquiring information. And because all of that gives you confidence to move on. But keep in mind why you want to do it. So when emblazon that in.
That's awesome. Well, I'd like to encourage everybody to go get Lee Glover's book. It's a great history book. I'll let you do the pitch of why they should buy your book, Lee, Field Trip.
Sure. So the best place is at my website, which is www.booksinspire.me. And there you can find out about me. You can find out about the book. You can hit a link that will take you directly to sites to order it. I have lots of pictures there. I update it, and that's a great marketing tool. So for me, email list and the website are the best marketing tools that I have so far.
Yeah, so we'll put your website up in the show notes of the podcast blog. And then also, if you would like to receive awesome videos of John's Island, you can put your name and email in on the website, booksinspire.me, and you can get the free videos that Lee has provided so you can see how beautiful John's Island is.
Yes, great.
Sounds fabulous. Thanks so much, Lee. Congratulations on your book. We're so happy for all your advice that you gave to either current authors or future authors. So if you're thinking about writing a book, do what Lee says. Figure out your why and get those actions. Take an action every day. And we're here to help and support just like we did with Lee. So reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com and go to the author submission button. We're happy to meet with you and see if you're a good fit for us. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.